did it. I'ma tell him I rose up. I'm a survivor. Fight for my life. I'ma get stronger. I will rise. I'm a survivor. Fight for my life. I'ma get stronger.
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to go through my very early League 1 predictions for the 2024 to 25 season. I hope you will enjoy it. Remember that these are just early predictions, so anything can happen over the summer transfer window. Before we get into the predictions guys, please be sure to hit the like button. Let's go for bang on 100 likes today on today's video. I know you all can do it, and please be sure to hit the subscribe button. We are on the road to 50 subscribers at the moment. We are currently at 32, so we're nearly there. So please be sure to hit the subscribe button, it really helps. And yeah, let's get straight into predictions. Okay guys, so on this tier list today, we've got the 4 relegated teams from 24th to 21st. We've got the survival teams from 20th to 14th. We've got the top half teams from 13th to 7th. We've then got the 4 teams that make the playoffs. And then we've got the 2 automatic teams that get automatic promotion. So yeah, I've got my paper here still so that I can remind myself of where I put the teams. And I'll be going from 24th all the way up to 1st. Because like I say in my previous videos, if I just keep going like that, then I'll lose where I've put the teams basically. So let's get started then. So in 24th place I've gone with Cambridge. Now Cambridge are a team that's starting to worry me a little bit, because in the past few seasons now they've been really struggling in League 1. At the start of last season it didn't really feel that way because they started in first and they started to do really well. But then as the season progressed, they just started to really struggle again, and all of a sudden they dropped all the way back down the table, and then they were in a relegation scrap, which is a position that Cambridge have been in for quite a couple of seasons now. And now obviously you've got teams like Birmingham, Rotherham and Huddersfield that are going to come down and be really strong. And then you've also got the 4 teams that got promoted to League 1, like Wrexham, Stockport, Crawley Town and Mansfield, that are going to want to do really well. And so therefore I feel like that's going to put a lot of pressure on Cambridge, and then they're going to end up finishing rock bottom of the League 1. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Cambridge. Cambridge fans, I'm sorry, I don't really like putting teams in the bottom 4 and getting relegated, but when it comes to football, you have to, if that makes sense. You have to put teams in relegation. Teams have to be relegated. So I feel like one of them is going to be Cambridge, and they're going to finish bottom for me. Coming in at 23rd place, I've gone with Shrewsbury. Shrewsbury for me are a team that seem to be running out of steam, if that makes sense. Not last season, but the season before, they had a decent season. You know, they finished like mid-table-ish. They were even challenging for the top 10, playoffs as well, and they were taking off points from quite a few top teams as well. But last season they sort of dropped down the table a little bit. Their team sort of got weaker, if that makes sense, and they sort of had a poor season. They survived, but they only had a couple of wins or something. And I feel like Shrewsbury are going to be one of those teams that, instead of pushing on, they're going to regress down the table, which is somewhere where Shrewsbury don't really want to do. I feel like Shrewsbury are a team that do want to start pushing on now. But I feel like they're going to get caught in it and they're going to get relegated. So Shrewsbury fans, share your thoughts on that one. 22nd place, I've gone with Burton Albion. Now Burton have a similar sort of story to Cambridge. They seem to have been struggling in this league for quite a few seasons now. Hold on guys. Sorry about that guys, I had a parcel come through. But yeah, I feel like Burton have a similar sort of story to Cambridge. Just like Cambridge, for a couple of seasons now they have been struggling in this league. and I feel like Burton have a little bit more firepower to them than Cambridge do. Even though Cambridge finished above Burton last season, and I believe the season before as well, I feel like Burton will sometimes come out with really good results. Like sometimes they'll beat teams that you don't expect them to beat because of how poor their um, form can be, if that makes sense. I say that so many times this video, guys. Count how many times I say if this makes sense. But I feel like Burton are going to get caught in it again this time. And I feel like they're going to get relegated. So, Burton fans, share your thoughts on that one. In 21st place and the final team getting relegated, I've gone with Crawley Town, the team that won the League 2 playoffs. I feel like Crawley Town, it's very easy to say that the teams that won the playoffs are going to get relegated straight away the next season. But I feel like Crawley do have a chance of staying up, but I feel like they're going to get unlucky towards the end of the season. Because I feel like Crawley Town, when they come up to League 1, they're going to give this league a really good go. I feel like they're the smallest team in the league, if that makes sense. Think they are. Yeah, I think Crawley are the smallest team in this league, but then that doesn't mean that they can't stay up. Yeah, I feel like Crawley are going to have one of those seasons where they do really well in the league in the whole season, and all of a sudden they just become really unlucky and get relegated on like, the final day or something. So yeah, I feel like Crawley Town, my final team to get relegated. Share your thoughts on that one, Crawley fans. Okay, moving on to the survival teams. First off, I've got with Bristol Rovers in 20th place. I don't know why I've got these guys so low. I feel like the majority of these teams that I'm going to be showing you guys now will finish in any order. I just picked like a really random order for my early predictions. So yeah, 20th I've got with Bristol Rovers. They're a good club. Sometimes they can get caught up in a few games where they should be winning them, but at the end of the day they end up losing or something. I feel like Bristol Rovers are going to try and give this League One a really good go, try and push on, but I feel like there's going to be too much pressure with all the teams coming up and coming down. So I feel like Bristol Rovers are just going to survive in 20th place. 19th, 18th and 17th now. I'm going to put all these guys up here. I've gone with Northampton to finish 19th, Stevenage to finish 18th, and Leyton Orient to finish 17th. Where are they? There. Now all these teams have pretty much the same story. All these teams came up to League One last season. All three of them did really, really well. All three of them finished top half at least. But I feel like next season they're going to have a little bit of a second season syndrome and just drop down the table a little bit. Not get relegated, but I feel like they're going to have a little bit of a struggle and drop down the table a little bit. Out of all three of these teams, I think that the team that I'd be moving up the most would be Leyton Orient, because I have a little bit more firepower about them in my eyes. But yeah, I feel like all three of these teams are going to have a similar sort of output next season. They're just going to have a little bit of a drop off, but still survive, still have a decent season. Coming in at 16th, I've gone with Exeter. There we go. Exeter, I feel like are trying to get up to where Plymouth are, because obviously, as we all know, Plymouth and Exeter are rivals. But I feel like Exeter are still trying to get up to where Plymouth were, or they're trying to catch up with them. I feel like Exeter still have a bit more building to do in order to get up there. Obviously, last season they had a little bit of a struggle. I mean, they were in the top 6 for a little bit, but then, just like Cambridge, as the season progressed on, they started falling down the table a little bit more. So, which did look concerning. It did look concerning for Exeter there, but they hung on. They started to push up the table towards the end of the season, and they gave themselves a top half finish next to Northampton, I believe. But I feel like Exeter are just going to have like another mid-table sort of season next season. So yeah, 16th place for Exeter for me. What do you think on that one, Exeter fans? 15th place, I've gone with Stockport County. I feel like Stockport's main aim next season is just to survive relegation and stay in League One. But I wouldn't be surprised if they do end up kicking on a little bit and getting all the way up to the playoff positions. And so, I mean, because, you know, Stevenage and Leyton Orient were looking to do that last season. Those two were sniffing around the playoff areas. Unfortunately for those two, they sort of missed out on it. But they still were hanging around the playoff area. But I feel like Stockport will do the same, but I don't think they'll be as successful as Leyton Orient and Stevenage will be. Um, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Stockport did end up just missing out of the playoffs, placing in the top half. But I feel like Stockport's main aim, like I said, would be to survive relegation and stay in League One. So 15th place, solid finish, 15th place for Stockport. What do you guys think on that one? 14th place, I've gone with Wycombe Wanderers. I really like this team. I like their anthem. Their anthem is very soft and it's really nice to listen to. Wycombe had a slow start last season, but ended up finishing in 10th, which is a very good result for them. I feel like their main aim would be to try and look for the playoffs now and try and push on a little bit because they weren't in the championship before, and I feel like they want to get back to where they were in the championship. But let's be honest, next season in the League One is going to be very tough with all the big teams that are going to be in there next season. I mean, you've got the likes of Barnsley, Wigan, Peterborough, Reading, Rotherham, Charlton, Blackpool, Wrexham, Huddersfield, Bolton and Birmingham are all going to want to try and do well next season and get up to the championship. So I feel like that's going to put a little bit of pressure on Wycombe and they're going to end up just surviving, just missing out on the top half in 14th place. Still a solid season though. So 14th for Wycombe Wanderers. What do you think of that one, Wycombe fans? 13th place, starting off the top half, I've gone with Lincoln City, another one of my favourites in League One. I've always liked Lincoln, they've always been a very good club. Obviously last season they had a very good unbeaten run. I feel like it started, did that unbeaten run start on New Year's Day or something? I can't remember, but they had a very good run of form. They ended up beating teams like 6-1, 6-0, 5-0. They were really dominant last season, and I feel like they're going to drop down the table a little bit because of all the pressure of the new teams coming up and down. But I feel like Lincoln are still going to have a solid season. I feel like they're going to lose a few key players because obviously other teams are watching them and they're going to feel like, oh, Lincoln did really well with these players, let's see if we can get them. But yeah, I feel like Lincoln are going to lose a few key players and drop down the table a little bit. Still a very good season though, 13th is a very good place to finish. But yeah, 13th place for Lincoln for me. Get a drink, my mouth is dry. Yeah. Okay, 12th place. I'm going with Mansfield. I feel like Mansfield are going to have a very good season next season and finish top half. Just like Stockport, their main aim is to try and stay in League One and not get relegated. But last season they were very dominant. Who remembers that 9-2 win against Harrogate Town? That was a crazy game. Crazy result. You don't really get teams that win by 9 goals too often nowadays, do you? Unless you're Saints and you go and lose to Man United and Leicester 9-0 in like a decade or so. Silly team. But yeah, Mansfield Town, I feel like will have a very strong season next season. I feel like they're gonna try and go on another dominant run next season in League One. And yeah, and I feel like Mansfield are gonna have a very good season and finish in 12th place. What do you guys think on that one? 11th place, I've gone with Wigan. From 11th upwards, it's very difficult to predict this one. Wigan Athletic, they had a slow start last season because they started out with a points deduction, but they ended up crawling up the table because I think Wigan are a very good club to this league. I mean, they've won like 4 League One trophies already, man. That is crazy. So they know this league really well. but I feel like because of their points deduction and them having a slow start, it sort of messed up their season a little bit, because Wigan, like I said, they won 4 trophies already, so you'd expect them to do a similar job, but obviously their points deduction sort of ruined their season a little bit. They still had a very good season towards the end of it. They still finished in the top half, and I feel like we're gonna do that again. Have a solid season and finish top half, but just missing out on the playoffs. What do you guys think on that one? 11th place for Wigan Athletic. 10th place and 9th place. These two will probably be shocking to you guys. I've gone with 10th place Barnsley and 9th place Peterborough. I feel like these two here are two main clubs that are going to try and aim for the playoffs or the top 2. Because these two have been doing it for the past few seasons now. These two have been in the playoffs a couple of seasons now. Unfortunately for them, obviously they lost the playoffs both times. Granted, they did come up against really tough opponents like Bolton, Sheffield Wednesday, Oxford United, who I believe no one expected to go up, but they did. I feel like Peterborough and Barnsley are just going to have a little bit of a drop off next season. I feel like if out of these two, the one that will do better will probably be Peterborough, because last season Barnsley had a bit of poor form towards the end of the season, but Peterborough ended up having some good results. So I feel like out of both of these teams, Peterborough and Barnsley, I feel like Peterborough will do the better job, but yeah, both of them missing out on the playoffs for me. So 10th place for Barnsley, 9th place for Peterborough. What do you guys think on that one? Okay, 8th place I've gone with Reading. This team should really be starting to push on a little bit now and getting back to the championship. This team is a big club. They know this league well. They've won this league before a few times. I feel like Reading, obviously, I felt really bad for Reading last season. Didn't they nearly go bankrupt or something? And they also suffered some points deductions as well. So yeah, I felt really bad for Reading. I did not want them to go bankrupt because, you know, Reading is a very well-known club here in the UK. Everybody knows Reading. I feel like if they had gone bankrupt, I feel like it'll be something missing. Something big that's gone missing or something. So yeah, Reading for me will do really well next season, but just missing out on the playoffs. 8th place for Reading. What do you guys think on that one? 7th place, just missing out on the playoffs. I've gone with Rotherham. Rotherham are usually a very strong outfit when it comes to League One. They know how to get out of it, but I feel like there's going to be a little bit of pressure for them. Obviously, the squad that they had last season in the Championship was absolutely dreadful. They were almost the worst Championship side to have ever graced the league or something. But I feel like Rotherham have a little bit of building to do, because obviously if they want to get back up to the Championship, then they need to bring in some key players in order for them to get back up there. I feel like they will, but I feel like they're just going to miss out. 7th place for Rotherham for me. What do you guys think on that one? Okay, the playoff positions. Coming in at 6th place, I've gone with Charlton. Charlton for me are a club that's a little bit too big to be in League One. I feel like they're a club that need to try and get back to where they were in the Championship and the Premier League. I feel like that's where their aim should be. Obviously last season they had a very weird season of finishing in mid-table-ish, which isn't like Charlton at all. Charlton are usually a club that would try and push for the promotion places. I feel like next season Charlton will fix that and try and go for the automatics, but they'll end up in playoffs for me. Still a very good season, because that'll just feel like Charlton again. But yeah, 6th place for Charlton for me. What do you guys think on that one? Charlton making the playoffs. Coming in 5th place, I've gone with Blackpool. Blackpool, again, a club that should be pushing back to where they were, getting back in the Championship, possibly going for another season in the Premier League as well. Blackpool are a big club. They know this league well. They know the league, both League One and League Two, really well. They've won a few league titles. They won a few playoffs. So yeah, Blackpool are a team that know how to get up there for me. I really like Blackpool. In League One, I'd say my favourite teams are Blackpool and Lincoln. Blackpool and Lincoln are my favourite teams in League One because I just think they're really good clubs. I really like Blackpool. I have a really good soft spot for them. So yeah, 5th place for Blackpool for me. What do you guys think on that one? 4th place, I'm going with Wrexham. Now this one, I feel like will be like no shock to a lot of people because obviously, as we all know now, Wrexham have got a lot of money grinding into them now. You know, they've got Ryan Reynolds and that now, who are going to probably try and dig a lot of money into them and spend as much money as they can on good players. I think Wrexham are a team that shouldn't be underestimated because who remembers in that one FA Cup or Carabao Cup, can't remember what it was, they were going through and they were being the underdogs in a lot of matches and they ended up winning a lot of them. I feel like Wrexham are a team that know how to grind points off of teams, and I know that they're a team that know how to win, they know how to get good results, they know how to place high in the league now. So yeah, 4th place for Wrexham for me. What do you guys think on that one? 3rd place, I've gone with Huddersfield. I feel like this team is a club that should really be pushing on for a swift return back to the Championship. Obviously, League One is going to be a difficult season next season. You've got a lot of big clubs in here, and Huddersfield is one of those big clubs that are going to try and do really well. I feel like Huddersfield is going to be one of those teams that are just going to be sticking around the top 2 and the playoffs for the vast majority of the season next season. But I feel like they're just going to barely miss out on the automatics. Out of all 4 of these teams in the playoffs, I really do not know who's going to go up. It literally could be anybody here. Huddersfield have a good chance. I wouldn't be surprised if Wrexham won it. Blackpool and Charlton, obviously 2 big clubs that are very capable of winning it as well. And also you've got teams in the top half here. Rotherham, Reading, Peterborough, Barnsley, Wigan, who also have a very good chance of winning the playoffs or automatic promotion. So yeah, I really don't know who I'd pick for the playoff winners. If I had to lean towards somebody, it would probably be, I think the wise option would be to go for Huddersfield because they've just come down for the Championship and they're going to look really strong. But I feel like I'm going to lean towards Charlton because obviously no one predicted Oxford to get promoted, except for their fans at least. But I feel like Charlton are going to be like the Oxford of next season. They're going to be a team that no one's really predicting to go up, but I feel like they are going to do it. So yeah, Charlton are my early League One playoff winners for me. Okay, my top 2, I've gone with Bolton in 2nd, and then obviously Birmingham in 1st. Let's start with Bolton. Obviously last season, unlucky for them, they lost out in the playoffs again, but this time in the final. Bolton are a team that's far too big for League One for me. This team should really be pushing on to get back to the Championship and Premier League for me. Bolton are a team that are a very strong club and is a very big club, as we all know. So yeah, nothing too much more to say about Bolton there. We all know that they're too big for this league now. And 1st place, obviously Birmingham, obviously the favourites to win the league. This club they know this league from like a few years ago, but they haven't been down here in a while. And so I feel like Birmingham are going to be a very strong outfit next season and win the league. Okay guys, so that wraps up my EFL League 1 table predictions for the 2024-25 season. Remember that these are just early predictions, so anything can happen during the transfer window this summer. For those who don't know or haven't seen yet, the League 1, Championship and League 2 and National League, I believe, all those fixtures for next season will be coming out on the 26th of June. So please be sure to look out for that. And for those who are tuning into this video and wanting to know when the Premier League fixtures are coming out, it's next Tuesday. So next Tuesday the Premier League fixtures are coming out. But yeah, guys, sorry if I waffled on a bit on some of them. I just wanted to get some stuff off my chest. Obviously, everybody's gonna have parts where they explain where they've put them and why they've put them in that position. Obviously, for the vast majority of these teams, it's very difficult to explain a lot of stuff about these clubs because obviously you got teams that look like obvious favourites for like the playoffs and automatics. So yeah, this is my predictions, guys. They might change later on. I'll make my official predictions towards the end of the summer transfer window. But yeah, so my automatics: Birmingham and Bolton. Playoffs: Huddersfield, Wrexham, Blackpool and Charlton, with Charlton being my favourite to go up from the playoffs. And then my 4 relegated teams: Crawley Town, Burton Albion, Shrewsbury Town and Cambridge United. What do you guys think on those? But yeah, guys, please be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye, guys!